The only NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 Super in the world, Teclab details the building of the fastest custom ADA GPU with 26GB G6X memory. Teclab goes through the entire process of how they build their custom NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 Super graphics card featuring top 8102 ADA silicon and faster G6X memory. Last month, Techlab showcased how they converted the Galax GeForce RTX 3090 Ti HOF into a new graphics card using NVIDIA 8102 ADA GPU. This new graphics card was titled the RTX 4070 Super, and why it is named so because of its customized design, which uses binned ADA silicon and the fastest GDDR6X memory available. Also, this card's performance is a quite spectacle. So let's go through the whole building process of this impressive project from Team Techlab. The NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 hasn't got a super release yet, nor do we expect to see any such card given how close we are to the next gen RTX 50 series. However, remnants of the card exist in the form of prototype cooler and PCB, which highlight a stronger variant featuring a faster 8102 GPU SKU. So starting with the details, Techlab explained that the project was first realized back when the RTX 3090 Ti was introduced. The RTX 3090 Ti was launched very late in RTX 30 series, actually a few months before the release of RTX 40 series. The card features the GA103 GPU, which was also used by the non-Ti model in different config. However, one different thing was the PCB layout. The 3090 cards had a slightly different PCB, which ended up being more in common like RTX 4090 8102 than RTX 3090 GA102. When the RTX 4090 launched, it was found that the 3090 Ti and 4090 PCB had small differences such as memory strap and a 1.8 volt power supply. The RTX 4090 introduces two different voltages controller. The 1.8 volt controller powered the memory and the rest of the PC component, while an additional 1.2 volt controller was used to control the power only in the GPUs. So why specifically select the 3090 Ti HOF OC lab variant? The reason is that the older model comes with a water block that allows for better cooling without the use of exotic cooling setup like LN2. The RTX 4090 did receive a HOF variant but not a HOF OC lab, so there was a non-custom water block for this card available besides using the one from HOF 3090 Ti overclock lab. Other changes to the 3090 HOF to convert it into the NVIDIA GeForce 4090 Super card include the AD102 GPU, 24GB GDDR6 memory, and changes to the memory strap and also the voltages controller to supply 1.2 volt to the GPU. For the memory module, each DDR6 ICs was hand selected by Techlab to ensure the best quality DAs were used in the project. The specified memory DAs are Micron 24GB GDDR6 ZF module 161 0480 900. While you may think that the processor is a similar GPU memory swap, it is way more complicated than that. The custom NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 Super project requires a whole lot of expertise and hard work. Since Techlab is associated with the Galax, they have the right tools and schematics for the PCBs, the popular tools, equipment to modify, swap the component and use the proper power routing, memory steps and voltaging limits to ensure that everything goes as planned. For cooling the water block, as the Galax G4 RTX 3090 HOF OC lab was used with a few modifications such as the thermal putty used for each of the memory dies and high quality TIM for GPU. This ensures the greatest contact between the water block, which uses a nickel-plated base plate and is designed specifically for this PCB. The cooling is provided by two 316mm radiators that are step up in the push-pull configuration along with the water pump that runs at 234 L per H. The ambient temps were 18.7 degrees Celsius, where the coolant temps were reported at 20 C. The result is that even with the heavy overclock above 3 GHz, the card will be able to run at around 54 to 55 degrees Celsius. The custom NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 Super by Techlab was tested in Unigen Superposition 8K benchmark using a 3105 MHz GPU overclock and 12900 frequency for the GX memory, which is clocking the module up to 25.8 GB. Techlab has already achieved 26 GB speeds with its 4070 Ti custom memory swap mod in the past, and the 25.8 GB speeds were used since the RTX 4090 has a wider memory interface. End result of countless hours of modding, tuning, and testing is that custom NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 by Teclab was able to outperform several liquid nitrogen to RTX 4090 scores with just water cooling. So you can see the score comparison below, and they test this in Unigen superposition 8K, and this is the score in comparison to the others. As you can see here, RTX 4090 Super custom made scored 17,454, whereas the RTX Super GPU memory OC scored 14,537, and that's a huge gap. This is a 39% improvement over a stock NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 with overclocking applied, and 16.5% improvement without the LOD tweaks, which is super impressive. Techlab says that they have more testing of the card planned for the future, such as liquid nitrogen to benchmark and more, so stay tuned for impressive custom project from the team Techlab.